Hello, everyone. Well, I welcome you for the first time to IDEEA Cast. The idea of IDEEA Cast came to me just because in 2020, we were supposed to do the IDEA event. So Bench Events was to organize the Investment and Development in Eastern Europe event to talk about hospitality and hotel investments in the entire Eastern Europe. What happened is, we all know, COVID came and we were unable to have it. So what I've decided is we were going to bring in this cast or podcast important people within the industry to talk to them about what is happening. Our first guest, our very first guest today is Mr. Takuya Aoyama, who is the Development Vice President for Hyatt International. Takuya, please join us. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Well, I think I'm the first because, not because I'm important, but because the alphabetical order. My name is Takuya again. I work for Hyatt International, doing development since 2008. So it's been a while since I do this job. I wanted to show you the mountains, which are usually behind me. I live in a small town not far from Zurich Airport. And as you can imagine about Switzerland, forests and hills and farms and farm animals are everywhere. And, you can say it is quite a boring place. It is. It is very quiet. But on the other hand, I found this nature very helpful, especially during the first lockdown. All of us didn't know what was happening, and you suddenly realize your jet set lifestyle is gone. So you sit at your desk forever, and coming out to the nature every morning and have 1 hour walk really helped me think through about certain things, think about what was wrong with our industry, and about myself. And somehow I had never appreciated Switzerland before actually this lockdown. So in a way, there's always silver lining.
Well, I'll stop you just for a second. Well, this is maybe something that is very specific to this podcast. And I want to share this with the audience, is that we're not just going to be talking to people that we think are important in the industry. We also want to share a piece of their lives or the industry lives, or something that has a link to our speakers and our industry and our region. So every speaker will actually share, as Takuya just did, with everyone a piece of either the country or or food or something specific to the place where they live or that they cherish about Eastern Europe. Well, Takuya has quite a big luck to live in Switzerland. So this is why he's sharing his sensation. And I definitely agree with you, Takuya, that in 2020, we all realized that nature can save us in a situation like we were. And I think we need to be aware of the nature much more than we have been in the past. But now, can you tell us something about the company that you work with? I mean, we all know about Hyatt International, but how many hotels do you have? Where are they located, and where are they located in CE?
Yeah, so Hyatt International, or Hyatt Hotels Corporation, is a Chicago-based U.S. company founded in 1957. We are we are probably the smallest of big international operators. Currently, I think about, I was going to check, I didn't. We are about 900 hotels worldwide. Again, it's compared to the likes of Marriott and Accor and Hilton, we are really, really small. But there are reasons for that. In East Central Europe, our first hotel was and still is Belgrade. In Serbia, we have, where else we have, we opened Hyatt Regency in Sofia, Bulgaria last year. We are working on Hyatt Regency in Tirana, Albania. We hope to open Andaz in Prague later this year. Other projects include under development Hyatt Place in Krakow in Poland. We just signed Hyatt Place in Tallinn in Estonia. Also, we made an announcement of Hyatt Centric in Batumi in Georgia. We have Hyatt Regency Kiev, Sochi, Ekaterinburg, Moscow. So, and Paris Joudvar Hotel in Budapest and Hyatt Regency under development in Budapest. Our portfolio isn't as extensive or consistent as my competitors are, but again, there are reasons.
And are all these hotels signed by you?
Not all. What did I sign? Andaz Prague, I signed Hyatt Place Krakow. Tirana, I signed Sofia, yes, Sochi, yes. Our second hotel in Ekaterinburg, Hyatt Place Ekaterinburg, I signed. Hyatt Regency Moscow, I signed.
So most of them, I'd say.
Yeah, and then two Hungarian properties I signed. And Grand Hyatt Athens was mine as well. So, well, I mean, if you're around, what, more than 12 years, you have to sign something, no?
And I mean, you work in development, that usually, or pre-COVID, that meant traveling, what, 60-70% of your year?
Yes.
Well, I'll ask what changed in your work in the past months, not meaning only not traveling or traveling much less.
Yeah.
Else.
Okay, first of all, about traveling, I always thought this is the best job I could ever have because, Central Eastern Europe is not my job. It was always my passion. So I get to travel to those places at somebody's expense. So that was a really great thing. And, suddenly that's gone. I mean, that's like half of your life's gone. And, my friends are there as well. So that really hurt. And somehow, you have to internalize everything. And obviously adjusting to that was and still is not easy. On a more mundane basis, I find it extremely difficult to just sit in one place every single day and try to work whatever 9 hours, 8 hours. I cannot do it. So I'm taking the liberty of mixing my family life with work in a more more freely. So driving my daughter to school or cooking or taking a walk or shopping is part of my daily routine. And workload wise, as you said, I used to travel 60%, 70% of the time, and now that's gone. I have more than plenty of time to do my desk work.
But in terms of the requests and the deals that you might be signing, that changed? Do you have more requests for a certain portfolio or have or type of contract?
In terms of volume, it hasn't really changed. Last year, actually, we globally, my colleagues and I did basically almost 100% of the annual signing goal set at the beginning of 2020. So that was great news. This
Was that
year,
due to the previous
yeah,
arrangements and
I think,
deals?
I think most of the leads started in 2018, 2019. Uh, so obviously we were working on mostly on projects pre-COVID time. And probably this year we'll start to show some different patterns because, we are already one year into COVID. We maybe it's too early to say, but I should expect some changes in the way, in either the volume of or nature of leads we are going to see. Having said that, and purely anecdotally, I started seeing a number of requests from independent Greek hoteliers. I think they are exploring ways to expand their distribution channel, which is logical. I might as well do it if I were there. Other
Why
than
do you
that,
think that
yes,
Greek
yes.
specifically is going this way and other countries not?
Well, I think Greek, it's a dependency on tourism as a national economy. And, Greek hotels tend to be, okay, and that's one thing. And like Croatia, many hotels are based on islands, and they are very much dependent on foreign demands. And most of the ownership are, family-owned, small hotels. So I can imagine it's not that easy. I think, if you're sitting at a 40 key property in, I don't know, Santorini, and then you have to battle with so much uncertainty, right, about the future. Then, yeah, you would first thing
Looking
you
at
think is,
all the
yeah, how am I going to capture more demand?
And well, now the tricky question: what do you think that will be the hotspots in the CE in a short time future?
CEE wise, well, it's a difficult thing. If I can expand the geography a little bit, hotspot last year was Sochi, and it's going to be Sochi again.
But I mean, if you look at the numbers, the city hotels were always hotels that investors were looking at because they were safe. You always have the business market. But now it seems that during COVID, actually, the leisure destinations worked much better.
Yeah, because I mean, city hotels, particularly on gateway cities or capital cities, they depend mostly on for international demand. Yeah, and or corporate, or the combination of both.
So do you think that maybe investors will be looking more at the leisure markets instead of city destinations?
I think they should. And I would.
Okay. Well, that's maybe a good advice.
Yeah.
And then just as a last question, what do you think that will change positively and what negatively in the hospitality industry in the next 5 years due to this pandemic that we are still facing?
Well, it's difficult to say what's going to happen. I think one thing we learned last year is that we don't know anything. And I'm going to tell you, what I'm going to say is quite subjective, but I would say a positive thing would be if we had take this opportunity to stop for a while and think about the way we develop certain destinations and try to change the industry for better. And by better, I would say obviously, environmental impact, less environmental impact, less community impact, and make traveling, again, like meaningful. Then that will be a positive thing. On the contrary, negative thing is for us to assume that we can continue life, as usual, like the pre-COVID time. That will be a negative thing, or that will be a very stupid thing for us to do. We are sitting on this extraordinary situation, and if we don't take any lessons out of it, that's really sad.
Well, I want to share one more detail with everyone, is actually how long I know each other. It's been, I think, now since the first HF, and I really appreciate it. Takuya. Thank you so much for joining today, because I always thought that you bring the global view, but also you have a very, very good overlook of the region and the situation. So I really thank you so much, not only for this podcast, but for the support in all these previous years.
The pleasure is all mine.
Well, as soon as we'll have more news from Hyatt, I'm sure we'll be again talking to Takuya. Takuya, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again.
Take care.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, everyone, I want to tell you just quickly why I'm joining from this office today. As I said, we cannot meet each other. We decided to do the podcast. So what I did is actually I came to our partner's CMS office that is overlooking the Zagreb main square. Here it is, and the cathedral. And all I want to say is thank you for listening. And I really hope you're going to join us for the next podcast. And soon we might meet in Zagreb at IDEEA Hotel Forum or in Prague at IDEEA. Thank you and have a all great day.